What's going on? What's going on? I'm going to talk about your 20's and I'm going to talk about your 30's. When I was in my 20's, I was just focused on having a good time. Went to community college for a minute, had some idea of what I wanted to do career wise, but was wishy washy, was indecisive. Um, Speaking of careers, most people just doing what they got to do to survive nowadays. But when you're in your 20's, you just thinking about having a good time. You thinking about turning up, having fun, enjoying yourself, drinking. You just became legal to consume alcohol, all of those things. So when you're in your 20's, you're young. So you're not incredibly focused in like you need to be. But when you get in your 30's, it's like a light bulb goes off. I say by the time you hit your late 20's, definitely by the time you get in your 30's, the light bulb goes off. I don't know what it is, but it's like once you get in your 30's, your perception of things is way more clear. You understand what life is all about, and you're able to discern people more in depth by the time you reach your 30's. Um, I think to myself all the time, I wish that I had the mindset that I have now back when I was in my 20's. You know, um, if I would have known all the things that I know now that I'm in my 30's, I'd have been way ahead of the game. But I guess that's what this journey of life is all about. It's all about learning and, figuring things out along the way. Um, this is why I think it's very important to but a lot of people are not lucky enough to have this, to have people around you that can give you some knowledge and wisdom at a young age. Um, in your 20's, you think you got life all figured out. You think you know what's up, but you really don't have a clue about how things really operate in this real world because you're young. And there's no crime in being ignorant. The crime is to remain ignorant. My dad's buddy always told me that, and that's very true. Um, I just think to myself, like, had I known the things that I know now, as far as like life and how the world really is, if I would have known that this is what it's all about, that life is all about what you look like, life is all about fame and money, I would have been, you know, I would have been in a whole different mindset in my younger days. I would have been probably trying to start my own business, and I probably would have already had it by now. But you live and you learn. But what I'm understanding, and that's why I don't feel so mad or been out of shape about things anymore, because I see things clear as day now. And I see more and more that some people in this world were born with an it factor. They were born with the it factor. You look at legendary legendary people like you know Michael Jordan. He had the it factor. He can't be replicated. Michael Jackson, he had an it factor, can't be replicated. You look at somebody like Mario, the R&B singer. He has an it factor. Some people were born with an it factor, which is why the road to success is easy for them. I listened to Usher's new album, Impeccable Talent. My favorite track on the album is Kissing Strangers. Usher was born with an it factor, and that's why his career has had the longevity that it's had. He been killing stuff and doing it big, since I was a kid, before I even knew who he was. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. Some people, they just have that it factor. And that's why the road to success is so easy for some people. Um, when you're raised a certain way, or when you have certain talents that you were just born with, that can make things a lot easier for you too. Because I've seen some youngins of other ethnicities that are in their early 20's who they're already rich. They're already a CEO of their own corporation. But a lot of times those people were either born with an it factor, or they were born into a family that gave them the connections to have that success at such a young age. Because how many 21-year-olds do you know who are CEOs of a company? How many 21, 22-year-olds do you know riding in Bentleys, wearing Pal Zaleri suits and wearing suits from Oscar de la Renta, and wearing fragrances from Bodicea, the Victorious? If you don't know about Bodicea, the Victorious, some phenomenal fragrances. But you don't see that. You don't see many young 20-year-olds, you know, uh, doing it big like that, unless they were, born into a certain situation. And that's why I'm understanding that this life here is really all about that it factor. I look back, even though once you get in your 30's, you're not necessarily old, but I just feel it's a lot of things that I wish I would have, and I'm sure you guys can agree too. It's a lot of things that I wish I would have known in my younger days. It's a lot of things that I thought I had a clue of that I really didn't have a clue about. Um, and one thing I had to understand is that there is no crime in not knowing. It's to remain not knowing. And, life is all about a journey. Life is all about you live and you learn. You know, you don't want to stay stagnated. That's the thing. And I can see a lot of growth within myself. I'm sure some of you guys too probably can, especially cats that's in their 30's. You could tell a difference in your mindset and how you process versus when you was in your 20's. You probably look back and be like, man, I was kind of dumb back then when I was in my 20's. The things that I was doing, the mindset that I had, my perception on things it was off. But now that you're in your 30's, you see that you've wisened up. And life is all about a process. But I feel that some people had an advantage that put them beyond their years. Because there's some youngsters in their 20's who already have the mindset of a man that's in his 30's. But a lot of that goes back to how they've been raised, their life experiences, and ethnicity as well. I believe that plays a big factor, in things as well. Um, if you're a youngin in your 20's, and you're making mistakes, don't beat yourself up too bad, because you live and you learn in life. And the older you get, the more understanding you'll get on life, and it'll all be clear to you. Because my understanding at 34 years old is very clear. I see what this thing of life is all about, definitely. Um, but I also see, and this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I see that some people really had a gift. They were born with a gift that put them on the forefront very early in life. That's why you see some youngsters who, they're succeeding so early in life, because they had that advantage. They had that it factor. Let me know if you guys agree. And let me know what you guys think versus being in your 20s and transitioning into your 30s. Because I'm pretty sure, especially the guys that's in their 30s already, I'm sure you can see a big difference in yourself from when you was in your 20s versus your 30s. Because I know I see a big difference in myself, just my whole mindset. But that's what I really wanted to cover for now. Let me know your feedback, and I'll be talking to you guys real soon. Another stormy night discussion.